My name is Victor. I am the occult technician, and this is Mind War. Mind War is sponsored by Victory Work Apparel. Use promo code Mind War. Join the Mind War today. Enlist at patreon.com/mindwar. Now, back to the show. Welcome back to Mind War, folks. I appreciate you being here. We have a lot to cover today, so let's get started. Folks, we're going to jump right into another advanced magical technique, and today is going to be, again, another kind of multi-part, and we're going to talk about actually pulling tarot cards, okay? So we're going to kind of get deep into it. So, again, through my work, I pull tarot cards twice a month. On the one tarot card on the full moon from a tarot deck called the Magnolia Tarot deck. That's the one I'm currently using. And then once on the full moon from the Goetia Tarot card deck. That's the Demon Tarot card deck, right? So in the beginning, when I first started pulling cards, I was pulling multiple cards through each ritual. Again, I was still doing it just on the full moon and the new moon. I kind of realized I didn't want to pull tarot cards every day. I'd seen people do that, and I really thought that that was kind of overdoing it. It really watered down the experience, right? And I thought to myself, I need to make this more dramatic in a way. I need to have something to really look forward to. And pulling a tarot card every 2 weeks on the new moon and the full moon, it really gives you, again, something to look forward to, right? So again, those early tarot card pulls, I was pulling maybe 2 or 3 cards. I would ask 2 or 3 questions and I would pull the cards, right? And one of the things that I wanted to do, because I went into all of this not knowing much about the cards, right? I didn't know what the major arcanas were and what each card meant or represented. I still don't to this day. I'm still learning. I still have 3 years worth of learning to do. I still have 3 years left in this art project to go through all of these cards. But what I found is when I was doing it like that, not only were the cards kind of watered down or diluted in a way because I was pulling so many of them, I found that every 2 weeks I would put the cards back in and I kept pulling the same cards over and over again. And I go, well, this isn't going to work. I can't get to know the tarot cards in the meaning of each individual one if I keep pulling the same card over and over again. So about, I would say maybe 2 or 3 months into it, so this was early 2022, is when I first started pulling cards from the Goetia Tarot card deck. And what I decided was, once I pulled a card, that card was no longer going to be shuffled back in with the rest of the cards. I would pull the card, and when I placed it back in the box, the Goetia Tarot card deck box here, I would place it face up. And then the next time that I would open the deck, I would pull them all out. I would set aside the ones I had already pulled, and I would only pull from the remaining cards left in the deck. So as you can see here, these are the remaining cards that I have to pull from the Goetia Tarot card deck. I think I have 30-something more cards to pull, right? This is, again, 3 years worth of work I still have to do. I think there are 78 cards total. The 72 demon cards, plus there are cards like the cauldron, the sword, the magic wand. They all have, there's additional kind of magical accoutrement cards that aren't just associated to the 72 demons of the Goetia, right? The Solomonic demons. So again, I still have years worth of card pulls to do. I still am deep in the trenches of my magical journey, of my magical work here. And it's amazing. I mean, the stories that I've already told you thus far are absolutely amazing. I'm so excited for these next 3 years. And again, we are coming up. This is being recorded on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving of 2025. We are just weeks away from getting into 2026, and that will begin the 3-year countdown. We are officially on the downward spiral of this art project, right? So again, I would implore you to do this same thing. If you are doing the tarot cards, one of the things that you want to do is, again, don't pull them every single day. I see people doing that, and again, it just dilutes it. Make it something special. Make it something that you long for, and put the effort into pulling the card. Again, I don't think you can just sit down every day with your morning coffee and be like, oh, I'm going to just shuffle them up like I'm playing a deck of cards and playing a card game, and just pull out some cards and be like, oh, what is my day going to be like? I think you demean the cards. I think you demean the practice when you do that. Again, when I pull a tarot card, it is deep into the magical practice. I have done my magical preparatory process. Low dose THC, psilocybin, listen to the Gateway Experience tapes, set up my altar. I'm in the state of somnambulance. I'm listening to the hypnotic music. I'm doing the stare. I'm doing the breath work and the kundalini. That's the state of mind, the state of being that I'm in when I pull the tarot card. Now, how do we pull the tarot card? Again, do we sit and shuffle them like we're a goddamn Las Vegas casino, trying to play blackjack or poker? No. Again, that's profane. That's nasty. We're not doing that. Here's how it works. Here's how you truly pull a tarot card. So again, the music that I listen to, the Don't Sleep video, you can find it on YouTube on my playlist, Magical Music. Again, we see a video there of horror movie trailers that are intertwined in between music videos, right? And so when the horror movie trailer is playing, now again, I'm sitting at the altar. I'm in the state of somnambulance. I'm hitting the vape pen. I've smoked the weed, right? I'm really into it. So during the trailer, I'm kind of out of the hypnosis. That's when I will shuffle the cards. That's okay. You're going to shuffle them a little bit, right? But when it comes time to pull the card, here's what you're going to do. And I think we learn about this and hear about this a little bit more in the book Magic History Theory Practice by Dr. Ernst Schertl. Here's how it works. You're going to have the tarot cards in your hand, right? You're sitting there in front of your altar, and now the next song is going to begin playing. So, you're doing your breath work. You're doing the kundalini. The music is playing, this trance-like music, keeping you in the hypnotic state. You're doing the stare. You're not allowing yourself to blink. You're staring into the black mirror or whatever idol that you have in front of you. The smoke from the incense is burning your eyes. And now you begin to pull. You begin to pull the cards, right? Now, if you can see with my hands here, what we're going to do is called micro movements, okay? So you're not going to be shuffling through again like a madman. You're just going to hold them in your hands, and you're going to be staring forward. And you allow yourself the tiniest little twitch movements between your fingers and your thumbs. And they will slowly begin to separate the cards. Okay? Again, you're staring deep into the black mirror. You're calling forth with purpose. What card am I supposed to pull? Who am I going to be speaking with this month? Which demon will I be communing with this month. You'll be pulling the card, right? And you do these magical, these micro movements. You'll feel it. Your hands will do the work for you. You really shouldn't even be putting any effort in. Even as I'm speaking with you right now, my hands are making these tiny, tiny movements, and they're separating the cards, right? It's going to take you 3 to 4 minutes to pull a tarot card. You're going to be doing these micro movements throughout the entire song, right? And what's going to happen, again, with the video, Don't Sleep by Evil Aesthetics. Again, you can find it on my YouTube playlist titled Magical Music. Again, at the end of every one of his songs, he snaps you out of that hypnotic state. Boom, he ends each song abruptly. And when he does, boom, the card will be pulled. Your thumb, your fingers, they will pull the card that you were meant to pull that night. Absolutely amazing. Again, these are the advanced magical techniques that I'm sharing with you. You're not hearing this anywhere else. All the Instagram witches, all the TikTok witches, anywhere else, you see them shuffling cards like they're a fucking card dealer at Las Vegas. That's profane nonsense. They're pulling cards for their people that they're watching on live stream, and they're getting paid $10 a card. None of that is true. None of that works. Stay away from that stuff. Don't even go to a tarot card reader. They can't help you. You need to do it yourself. You need to get yourself into the state of somnambulance. This is the true practice of magic. You can't just do it sober-minded. You have to truly be in that deep state of somnambulance. You have to use these micro movements to pull the card. You're not just shuffling them like a card dealer, okay? You use the micro movements, and your hands, they will find the card for you. Again, you're not even pulling it yourself. You're allowing the card to come forward. I promise you, when you do that, you will end up, like we talked about in the last episode, pulling the death card just weeks before your uncle passes away. That's exactly what happened. I used these exact same techniques to pull the card that night. This is what it truly means to pull tarot cards. Okay? When you watch the movies, when you see the old pictures of the people with the crystal balls and all that type of stuff, what are they doing? They're staring into it. There isn't these fast movements. It's not like they're conscious to it. They're focused. They're getting in connection with the cosmic dynamic force. They're going with the flow. They're becoming one with the flow, right? And they're allowing the card to pull itself in a way. Now, prior to pulling the card here, this next technique, I'm going to share with you how I use it to call forth the demon that I will be pulling that night. But you can use this technique in all sorts of ways, in whatever way that you want to do it. And this technique plays a lot into what we talked a few episodes ago, again, where the father from South Park, again, I told you, you stand in front of your altar, you stare at the candlelight of your altar, and then you close your eyes and you see your altar in front of you in your closed eyes, right? Because the light burns into your eyes, it burns into your retina. So when you close your eyes, you see it visually in your mind, right? So here's what we do. On the back of this set of Goetia tarot cards, right? I'm going to try to put up a bigger picture for you below here. You're going to see a black portal on the back of the card, okay? So what I do is prior to pulling the card, right? Again, with the Don't Sleep video, what I'm going to do is during a trailer, the trailers last maybe 1-2 minutes, right? I'll have this deck of tarot cards. These are the cards that I haven't pulled. I still have to pull from these, right? I'll have them sitting in front of me. I've already shuffled them, whatever I need to do. I have them in front of me. And during the trailer, again, I'm in the darkness. There's only the candlelight. So what I do is I stare at the flame in the candle. Okay? And so what happens is when you're in the darkness, and again, you've done your magical preparatory process, those mushrooms are kicking in, the breath work, the kundalini, you're doing all of this. You stare at the flame. And again, that flame is going to be burned into your eyes in a way, right? You can do this today. You can do this right now. Go into a dark room, light a candle, and stare at it. Stare at it for 2 or 3 minutes without blinking. And then when you look away, when you look off into the darkness, you're going to see that flame floating in your vision. Okay? You're going to see the flame floating in your vision. So again, here's what I do. During the trailer, I'm staring at the flame. When I hear that the trailer is about to end and the music is about to begin, I'll usually hit the vape pen to get things really flowing. And then when the music begins, I transition my focus from the flame, and I haven't blinked this whole time. So now we're going to be going on 5 to 6 minutes without blinking, right? I transition my focus from the flame. I move that little flame over top of this dark portal, this portal that you see here. I'm going to try to illustrate it for you with some digital magic here on the screen. But I move that flame over this dark portal. And basically, I think of it like fishing. So I'm staring at the portal. Again, using the stare technique. So I'm actually staring through the portal on the back of these cards. But I see this little flame floating there above the portal, the black portal into the abyss. And through this time, the music is going. I'm doing the breath work. I'm breathing, inhaling, exhaling, holding my exhale through the music. The music is guiding me in my breath work, right? And I'm staring into this portal, and the little flame just floats right there. And what's difficult in a way is if you stay focused for too long, the flame will drift off, right? Your vision will start to drift, and you have to really stay focused to make sure it stays right over top of that portal. It's very intense, right? And again, you're staring at it. And you know, most people, when they say, oh, I'm going to hold my breath, and they inhale, and then they hold the breath as long as they can, and they think, oh, that's where you get really intense feelings. No. It's on the exhale. When you hold your exhaled breath and don't take the next breath in, and you're staring into this portal, and you see the candle flame that's kind of been burned into your eyes, you see it floating there with the psilocybin and everything, that's when the room starts to shake and vibrate. And down here in the Mind War studios, with all the art on the wall, it begins to breathe. They're breathing themselves in and out of the wall. They're vibrating. The colors are vibrant. The sigil that you see behind me is vibrating. It's kind of with each, beat of my heart, they're kind of very intense. And again, this is going on for 3-4 minutes as I am calling this demon card. Whatever demon card that I need to be communing with that month, whoever it may be, I'm calling them forth out of this portal, out of this dark portal on the back of the card. Again, just like we talked about 2 episodes ago, the magician is seeing things that the profane are not. No one else is seeing the flame floating above these portals. Only the magician is. Only I am. When you do it, you will see the same. Again, this technique, I'm not telling you this technique or teaching it to you so you can do it the exact same way that I am with the Goetia Tarot card deck. You can if you want, but you can do it in all sorts of ways. You can stare at the flame, and I've done this before too. Stare at the flame and then look into the black mirror. And allow that candle flame to float inside the black mirror. Again, this is in real life, with your eyes opening, having the connection that you did during the Gateway Experience tapes when you were imagining these things in the sleep dojo, in the abyss, in the darkness, that upside down world of Stranger Things, right? All of those things you were imagining in your mind. But now, with this technique, now you're seeing these things come to life with your eyes open. You are seeing things that the rest of the world is not. These are your scientifically backed, on purpose, and repeatable hallucinations. Again, staring at a candle in the dark and then looking away and seeing the candle flame floating is a form of hallucination. It may not be a drug-induced hallucination because you can do it right now sober-minded. But again, if you do it with the psilocybin and the THC in the state of somnambulance, it just grows. It becomes that much more powerful. And folks, you can stare at whatever you want. Again, the hypnotic swirl videos you can find on YouTube. You can stare at any type of light source and then look away. You can stare at pictures of the demons. You could stare at pictures of people that maybe you love, pictures of people that you hate. Think about this. I haven't done this, but if you have the black mirror here and you hold your phone in the darkness, and you stare at a picture of someone that you love, and then you look away and look into the black mirror, and now you see a negative version of them floating there in your black mirror. You send your love towards them, right? Or if it's someone you hate, you can send your hate towards them. Maybe curse them. Very, very powerful tool, a visualization technique that is very intense. And again, you do all of this in combination with the music. The music will guide you. You do it with your breath work, your kundalini, all of this working together. This is real magic. This is what it means. This is what it means to call forth these demons from this dark portal, right? Another very, I think, detailed, advanced magical technique. Again, we went through a couple of different things here. Again, you don't just pull the tarot cards like you're shuffling tarot card, or like you're shuffling cards as some kind of casino dealer, right? That's crazy. One tarot card on the new moon. Use a different tarot card deck for the full moon. One card each. Make it worthwhile. Get yourself into the state of somnambulance before you do it. Put the effort in, and these cards will have meaning in your life. When you pull them, you're going to be using those micro movements. You're not shuffling them. The micro movements. Your thumbs, your fingers, they will find the card that you are supposed to have for that ritual. And then, again, this advanced technique where you are using these visual sort of hallucinations, staring at the candle flame and calling forth the demons from the cards, calling forth the spirits through the black mirror, looking at whatever light source that you want, a picture of someone or something, and then looking off into the darkness and seeing the negative version of it and calling that forth, sending your energy to it, taking energy from it. Whatever you want to do, man, this is chaos magic. This is what I'm talking about. I'm just here to share with you some of the universal techniques. I'm not telling you what to do, why to do it, what style you're supposed to use, any of that. That's all up to you. I'm just sharing with you these advanced techniques. I hope you enjoyed this one, folks. This was a big one. This is one I've been wanting to share with you for quite some time, and I'm so glad that I was finally able to get it off my chest. And so since we've gone long already, when we return, we're just going to finish up maybe another half hour here. We're going to do some reading through the book Magic History Theory Practice by Dr. Ernst Schertl. Again, we'll probably forego any more of my magical journey up on Instagram for this episode. We're going to really try to get this one at an hour, folks. So we're going to continue on with our reading in just a moment. All right, welcome back, folks. We're going to pick up where we left off in the book Magic History Theory Practice. This will be the final segment for today. This is the third episode I've recorded on this Black Friday 2025. I hope you've enjoyed these episodes. These were very intense. These, again, were techniques and things that I've wanted to share with you for quite some time. I really hope you understand that as we go through these series, the series on the Gateway Experience tapes, the series here on Magic, they just get more intense as we move towards these final episodes. And I promise, we're not done yet, folks, okay? The advanced magical techniques, I've shared with you most of the really deep ones. I think there's a few hidden ones remaining. We'll get to those, but I really think you're going to enjoy and find the profound nature of my magical work in the as we finish up this series, right? But until then, we still have quite a few pages to go here. We're on page 105. There is 130 something pages here, 137 pages. So we have quite a bit of work to do here still. So let's go on with, we left off on page 104. We were talking about occult magical gymnastics from our last reading, and we start with this. Let's see. As we have seen in the historic part, contortions of the body as well as pathic gestures played a central role in the old magic, and still today the dervishes are dancing to bring themselves to ecstasy. And in our churches, the enclosure around the most holy is still called a choir, which is derived from the Greek word for dance. That's interesting. The presenter in the cathedrals was called leader of the choralists, that is to say, the dancers. The Jewish catechism still dance today on the occasions of their religious celebrations. So again, much of the Judeo-Christian Islamic paradigm, their roots are in occult magic. Again, but they tell you that it's evil. They tell you to stay away from it because those who are truly in charge of those religious institutions know the power of it. And that's why they want to hide it from you. That's why they want to teach you that you are a born dead sinner and all of this. And bury you in shame and guilt and all this nonsense. It's ridiculous. They hide these things from you while making you participate in their rituals that bring success to them. Don't you understand that? Those men standing, and now women and all the freaks and everything that are standing at the podiums now in these churches, you are members of their mass rituals. Right? Where they are the ones receiving your energy, not just through your attention, but also through your finances. So be careful out there, folks. So we go on to say here, it says JAPP, Jap Cool, KOOL, writes this, I guess an author, right? He says, we will more likely come near the truth of the primitive dances and therefore the essence of the dance in general with psychological and religious empathy than with scientific analysis. So again, when analyzing the work that magicians do, it's often looked at through, again, esoteric and occult views of religion. That's what we break down here in the Mind War podcast. I've told you, we break down occultism. We break down spirituality through scientific means. I'm not the most scientific man out there, but what I've done is I've shown you techniques to have magical experiences, to actually have spiritual experiences. No more just talk about it, but actually experience these things. And you can do it over and over and over again through a scientific process of our Gateway Experience Tapes preparation process or the magical preparation process. It can be done over and over and over again. That's the science side of it. It's proven. We can talk about how psilocybin and listening to the tapes and doing breath work get you into the state of somnambulance. We can scientifically, describe that. We can describe how staring at a candle in the darkness and then looking off, why our eyes still see the flame floating around. There is a scientific explanation for it, and we can do it over and over and over again. Why you do it, what your purpose is, and how you do it, your style, that's up to you. That's the beauty of this chaos magic. Robert Bloom, another author here, expresses with regard to the description of the hypnotic phenomenon. Again, we use hypnosis in what we do. We self-hypnotize ourselves. Says here, rhythmic body movements, dance, are also producing hypnosis. He continues, furthermore, narcotics, intoxicating beverages, numbing smokes, etc. may induce hypnosis or states of ecstasy, or at least conducive to it. All right, so again, dancing. These gentlemen talk about dancing. I talked more about a ritualistic stretching, a kind of magical stretching. We talked about that a few episodes ago. Anything that kind of gets your blood flowing, gets you moving, right? This helps bring about the state of hypnosis. You need that blood flowing. You need to do the breathing. It's going to help you breathe deeper if you are moving and your heart rate gets up. Hell, usually when I take the THC and the psilocybin the 45 minutes prior, I told you, I do some light exercise. I'll get on the exercise bike and run around. I'll do some stretches, stretch on the yoga ball, things like that before I even listen to the Gateway Experience tapes, right? And then, of course, the author, this Robert Bloom, says, again, the narcotics, the intoxicating beverages, the numbing smoke, the magic mushrooms, the psilocybin, these all help induce the state of hypnosis. They're just going to make it that much deeper. You're going to be able to sink deeper and deeper and deeper into your state of somnambulance. With regards to our practices, the use of narcotics will also prove itself to be enhancing. That's where I got the term enhancements. When I would say throughout the Gateway Experience series, I would say we're using the enhancements of THC and psilocybin. And it will be most adventurous if, among other things, real incense is used, which is vaporizing on glowing coals. Again, incense, it's very important when you're doing the stare, right? You keep your eyes open for 3 or 4 minutes and you allow that smoke to burn your eyes a little bit. They start to water. The tears that are welling up in your eyes are going to help distort the world around you. It's going to increase the hallucinations, the visions that you're going to be seeing. The desire for greater care of the body will generally arise on its own while practicing the mentioned gymnastics, and one will learn to understand why washings, baths, embrocations, and uncations have in the past been closely linked to cults and magic. One will also pay attention to the clothes, especially during the practices. The clothes, as the enveloping layer of the body, are of fundamental importance to the whole body feeling. Told you before, you gotta wear comfortable clothes, right? You can't go into the Gateway Experience tapes wearing things that are too hot, that are too cold, that are uncomfortable. You can't go into your ritual with uncomfortable clothes on. You want to make sure that you're wearing something very, very comfortable, whatever that means to you. I normally wear the Adidas tracksuit. Again, I wish I had my own Victory Work apparel tracksuits. But that is, wear something comfortable to you, right? One will also soon reach the conclusion that the mentioned exercises are in any case hardly practicable in our usual clothes, and one will automatically drop one piece after the other until one wears hardly anything anymore, right? So if you're wearing jeans and a Carhartt and work boots, and that's not going to work. You can't wear that stuff while you're trying to practice magic. It says the Egyptian priests were sometimes instructed to be completely naked. Hey, man, if that floats your boat, if your house is warm enough, I say go for it. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your birthday suit. I'm sure it would feel amazing. Let's see. Other peoples used a certain prayer clothing, which consisted of a loose cloak or cloth. Wow. Interesting, huh? All the heads of all these organized religions wear these cloaks, these gowns, right? I wonder if they're doing occult magic after your Sunday sermon. What do you think the priests and the preachers and the rabbis and the imams are doing after they give their sermon and collect your energy and your finances from you? What do you think that they're doing? Do you not think that they're doing and practicing occult magic? I guarantee you they are. I guarantee you they are practicing the same things that I'm showing you here, folks. As soon as one practices the exercises with a naked or sparsely clothed body, the desire for a carpet arises, whereupon one stands, in which one also gradually prefers to sit on a chair, since it is an unpleasant feeling to sit upon it with the naked skin. So again, you want to have a comfortable carpet or rug or whatever. I do have hardwood floors up here at the Mind War Estates. So when I was doing magic here, there was a nice carpet there. And I have a nice little bench that I made. You've seen it in the pictures. It's the red and black bench. And I do sit on that. Again, I don't do any of this in the nude, but completely without historicizing tendency, one comes therefore back to the cultic objects and certain general ways of life of the old peoples. The Mohammedans, aka the Muslims, still have a prayer rug today, and all old peoples have been more or less crouch peoples. That is to say, they sat on the floor and not on chairs. Again, the Muslims of the past, when they practiced Islam, they may have been getting closer to this type of ritual magic that we're talking about today versus the profane forced get on your knees and pray in a certain direction 5 times a day. That is busy work. That is profane work. We stay away from that. But I'm sure at a time that there was people with those belief systems that were practicing this type of work and probably were having very spiritual experiences. Again, experiences. The mentioned gymnastic practices, as well as the possible introduction of toxic substances into our body or the keeping away of certain or all foods from the body, have the aim to influence our body sphere and in this way change our world of perception. Again, abstaining from certain foods. Folks, I know I've talked about it before, the importance of fasting. And for the last couple of weeks, every Wednesday I fast. So I like to snack late at night. So usually on Tuesdays by 11 o'clock, I'm having my final little snack. And then I don't eat again until Wednesday at 11. I'll go a full 24 hours without eating. Sometimes I push it all the way into the Thursday, the next day, until I have something for breakfast or lunch. And a quick note, I've talked about before, all it takes is 2 weeks to change your eating habit. So if, again, you are one of these people like myself and like Father Mind War, okay? So here's what happened. Sorry, a little tangent here, folks. So Father Mind War and I, we went to the VA recently. We now have the same VA doctor. We met him the other day, a great guy. But one of the things he told us is that we are both pre-diabetic, right? Because we were both sugarholics there for a while. I know I've always talked bad about ice cream, but you know what? We were diving into the pie and the ice cream, and every night our final meal was these sugary desserts, right? And again, we were told that we are pre-diabetic. So another quick note, I've talked to you about Father Mind War and his end-stage dementia. I told you that I think the atorvastatin drug that he was on may have been the cause of it. And folks, I think I was correct. Our new doctor said, yeah, that medicine that he's on, one of the known side effects is short-term memory loss. Are you fucking kidding me? These pharmaceutical pieces of shit are handing out medication to our elderly with a known side effect of short-term memory loss. They will pay for what they're doing to us, folks. There will be a day of retribution where these people pay for what they've done. So the doctor has prescribed a new cholesterol medicine. It should be here any day. We haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It's a lower dose. It's a much more mild cholesterol medicine. We're hoping that that's going to make a big change. And one of the issues with the old medication, it wasn't really a lack of rebuilding the brain through cholesterol like I thought. That medicine stopped blood flow to the brain. It was literally restricting the blood flow to my father's brain, and that's where the memory loss was occurring. Again, we were both determined to be pre-diabetic, so we got to cut down the sugar. So one of the ways that we do that, again, is changing what we eat. So late at night, again, I've talked to you before, it's all about substitution. You're not going cold turkey. You have to substitute it. So if every night you're eating a bowl of ice cream, you have to substitute that with something. So what I did, again, I moved towards kombucha, this drink, this fermented kind of apple cider vinegar type drink. It's a little weird at first, but again, you drink it over and over and over again. Now your body starts to crave it. So here's what happened like 2 nights ago. I think this was Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving. I went to bed at 9 o'clock. I was exhausted. Terrible idea because I usually stay up much later. Went to bed at 9 o'clock, woke up at 11, okay? I woke up at 11 and my stomach was screaming for kombucha. I just had this huge just craving for it. And I go, oh shit, it's 11 o'clock. So I looked it up, saw that the local grocery store was open till midnight, and I literally got my ass out of bed and went and bought 4 giant bottles of kombucha. So at night, now what I do is I have my glass of kombucha and I make 3 scrambled eggs. And I know this sounds crazy that I'm telling you this, but here's what we're doing, okay? You take the 3 eggs, crack them in a bowl. You're going to put a little bit of half and half, right? A splash of half and half into the eggs before you start to beat them up. The half and half is going to play 2 roles. You're going to replace that sugary, French vanilla garbage, that shelf-stable bullshit that you were pouring into your coffee every morning. You're going to start just using the half and half. You're going to cut the sugar out for 2 weeks, folks. That's all it takes. Black coffee with a little bit of half and half. After 2 weeks, you no longer miss the sugar. You no longer miss the sugary creamers and all that bullshit that are just toxic garbage. Get all that shit out of your life. Get the purest form of half and half that you can find at your local grocery store. Coffee, a little bit of that. Then that becomes your craving. It's a little tough at first. 2 weeks is all it takes. So now we got our 3 eggs. We got a dash of half and half in there. And you're going to beat the shit out of them until they are fully blended, till it's all one color. It's kind of frothy and soft looking, right? Really beat the shit out of it. Get your nice frying pan, your little ceramic frying pan or copper one. You're going to turn it on medium heat. You're going to let it heat up for at least a minute. You're going to take a tablespoon of butter, the best butter that you can find. You're going to throw it in there, let the butter melt, dump the eggs in there, and then just give it a few seconds, just maybe 10, 15 seconds, up to 30 seconds, and then just kind of stir it around. You're not going to really work the shit out of them, but you're going to slowly stir them around, right? Flipping them gently just a little bit. It's not going to take more than 2 minutes to cook these eggs, okay? It happens very quickly. What you're going to do is you're going to take the eggs off the frying pan when they're still a little bit wet. You're just going to look at them and go, I don't know, but you need to take them off just a few seconds before you think you should, because they're going to continue cooking while they land in your bowl, right? You take them out, a little bit of salt and pepper, folks, on those scrambled eggs with your kombucha. Do this for your midnight snack. I got to have a midnight snack before I go to bed, and I'm telling you, you're going to start craving them right away. It didn't take me 2 weeks. It took me about 3 days to where every night that's what I was craving. This protein, this delicious kombucha drink that helps settle your stomach. These things are so much better for you than the pie and the ice cream and all this stuff that Dad and I were eating, which caused us to now be in this pre-diabetic state, right? Again, I know a weird tangent. You might think it's silly that Victor's here telling you about how to make scrambled eggs. It's just an example. It's just a way. Again, I say this stuff with authority because I'm doing it. Again, you don't have to follow exactly what I'm saying, but I'm telling you there are healthy alternatives to whatever your current addiction is. Whew. Where were we? Gosh. What an episode. Folks, I hope you're enjoying this stuff. Okay, let's go on here. The mentioned gymnastic practices, as well as the possible introduction of toxic substances into our bodies, or the keeping away of certain or all foods from the body, have the aim to influence our body sphere and in this way change our world of perception. Again, this changing our world of perception, when you take the magic mushrooms, you are changing the perception of the world. You're going to hallucinate. You're going to see and feel things, maybe even hear things that the rest of the world, that people around you are not. It is a peculiar fact that we not only exert and receive effects within our world of perceptions, which is called empiric, but that this world of perception can be changed in its basic inventory by shiftings and transformations within an individual object of this world, namely that object which we call our body. Again, we're going to see, feel, hear things that other people are not. And we project this onto our world, the real world around us. Again, when you stare at that flame in the darkness, and then you look away and you see it. You see it in the black mirror now. You are projecting magic. You are projecting and perceiving something that the rest of the world does not. There's something beautiful to that. There's something powerful in that. It's individualistic. It really, truly is amazing. Our whole world of consciousness is most immediately dependent on our body, which means itself only a thing within this world. But it is that thing which is the carrier of our consciousness. By influencing our body, we change the contents of our consciousness in a much deeper way than by empirically affecting these contents, these things of consciousness. This gives magic its superiority over all things merely empiric. Again, that was a great sentence there. Our whole world of consciousness is most immediately dependent on our body. We experience consciousness through our five senses, and they are processed by our mind, and the thoughts that our mind produce then flow down into our body, into our glands, producing the chemicals that create our emotions, which means itself only a thing within this world, but it is that thing which is the carrier of our consciousness. Our body is the carrier of our consciousness, the carrier of our spirit. Again, that's the beauty of having the out-of-body experience. We allow our consciousness to shift outside of the physical body. We lose the fear of death when we do that. We understand that the real fear is in life itself. We no longer fear death. This influencing our body changes the contents of our perceptions. And this gives magic its superiority over all things merely empiric. The magician and his ability to experience life in a different way, experience consciousness in a different way besides just through the physical body, that gives us a superiority over all things physical. To the stated measures now available, to the stated measures now, additional practices are coming, which serve the purpose of changing our body's sphere and therefore our whole world of consciousness, but which do not reach this effect by centripetal, but by centrifugal means. Centrifugal. That is to say, by means of the central and peripheral nervous system. These are practices which on the one hand work towards the complete destruction of any world of perception, towards an abolishment of any consciousness. That is to say, towards erasing, and on the other hand work towards an immense concentration of the inner bodily energies in certain points, and towards a projection of these energies as plastic imaginations outwards. That is to say, as compressions. What have I talked about? The emotions that you're feeling, we do not spill them. We compress them into ourselves, and then through the use of our imagination, we plasticize them, as the author here. And what he means by that is we make them real. Our imaginations become real. They manifest in front of our eyes. True, real things start to change in our lives. Real things are created in front of us because we harness our emotions and we imagine the change that we want in our life. And as the author says here, we project them. Remember what I said when we do our magical stretch, when we stretch our arms out to the side. When we stretch our arms out to the side, we are projecting those energies that we have compressed within us to wherever we need to. When we close our eyes in front of our altar and we see it in the negative, and we use our magic wand to create the portals in front of us, and we push our energies, we project our thoughts and imagination and our wants and our needs or our questions, we push them into these portals that only we as the magicians see. This is the projection of energy that we're talking about. You can send your energy anywhere that you want, anywhere that you need. Erasing and compression are the axes of all magical practice, and all gymnastic, toxic, and other means eventually only serve the purpose of creating both of these forms of states. Again, the compression and projection, the erasing of all of these other things in our lives that are holding us back. We erase all of that stuff from our mind. We erase all of these things from our heart. The societal, cultural, and religious wet blankets that hold us down, we erase those lies. We do that by compressing our emotions, our hatred, our sadness, our fear of these institutions, of these organizations, corporations, and institutions that have polluted our minds, poisoned our bodies, and corrupted our souls. We no longer fear them because we erase those things from our mind. We harness the energy of, again, that hatred, the sadness, the anger, the fear that they were creating in our lives. We harness it, we crystallize it, and then we project it into our new transformed future. Erasing and compression are combined in one notion, in the word of ecstasy, a notion which therefore contains a double meaning and can be negatively or positively composed. During my deepest magical rituals, ecstasy was the word. That's a great way to describe it. Ecstasy with feelings of love and kindness and healing. Ecstasy with feelings of hatred and external anger and pushing that anger out. Whatever it was ecstatic. There was ecstasy there. It ultimately felt good, whether it was tears of joy or tears of sadness. I highlighted this next part. Ecstasy, that is to say, setting beyond the profane world of perception, is the basis of magic, because only in ecstasy does the person gain contact with his demon, who stands for the source of all magic ability. Again, the demon is your emotions. Emotions are what are going to fuel and power your magic. We have to use ecstasy to get beyond our basic perception, get beyond our basic consciousness and into a state of mind that allows us to fully grab these demonic emotions inside of us and harness them, direct them, and project them. I highlighted this next part here too, this next few sentences. The demon or God, as we have seen, is the punctual projection of the whole cosmic and paracosmic dynamic in us. He is the cosmos in its whole infiniteness, but he is also the center of our I. Again, the demon or God, as we have seen, is the punctual projection. So again, projecting our emotions, projecting our energy after we have harnessed them, using them for good. It's the projection of the whole cosmic and paracosmic dynamic in us. The cosmic dynamic force, the universe, the absolute God, they are in us just as we are in them. There is no separation between you and God, between you and the absolute, between you and the universe. We are all one. Yes, we are in these weird, individual, separated meat suits that keep our souls in a way separated and only able to experience each other through our senses. But that's the beauty of life. That's one of the main purposes here. It's why we are here living these lives, in order to experience life, in order to experience physical reality. We came from spirit. We were there for time infinite. We will return to spirit, and we will be there for time infinite, but only for this short time. In this beautiful life that we live, this beautifully happy and tragic and all of the things that make it up, This is why. And this is life. This is why we do it. And again, the main purpose of life is to have children. Don't forget that, folks. Again, he is the cosmos in its whole infiniteness, but he is also the center of our eye. As above, so below. He is unapproachable for us on the profane level of the mere empirical existence, since our empirical consciousness is not reaching down into these deep layers. You cannot connect with the cosmic dynamic forces. You cannot connect with the universe, the absolute, with God, if you are simply living the physical life. Some people are never going to be able to get out of it. Some people struggle so deeply in life, they're never going to be able to get the opportunity to truly experience what we're doing. That's why we have to be thankful. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. We have to give thanks for the life that we have. It's why we are so desperate to maintain it. It's why it tears our heart, tears our soul, tears our mind when we see the West collapsing around us. It doesn't need to happen. We don't have to go in this awful direction that it seems like the world is going. We can maintain the goodness. We can maintain the abundance that brought us Thanksgiving. We can maintain these things in order for all of us who are physiologically able to experience these spiritual gifts that were given to us. He is only approachable for us in ecstasy. Again, we have to move out of our current state of consciousness, which is stirring up all layers and tearing up the last, in order that the empirical is combining with the above empirical in the sacrifice. Again, who is the sacrifice? You are the sacrifice. I am the sacrifice. It is not about sacrificing animals. It is not about sacrificing humans. All of that is profane religious garbage. The sacrifice is in you. You have to sacrifice your old way of life before you can move into your new way of life. This is what Jesus was teaching. Not the bullshit that the Christians try to tell you today. This is what Muhammad was teaching. Not the bullshit that the Muslims are trying to teach you today. This is what Moses was trying to teach you. Not the bullshit that the Judaism is trying to teach you today. We are the sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your old self to transform into something new. If you cannot sacrifice your alcoholism, you will never not be an alcoholic. You will die of liver cancer. If you cannot sacrifice your cigarette smoke, you will die of lung cancer. You will never change. You will never transform if you cannot sacrifice these things. A mild reflection, distant quasi-lightning of ecstasy is what we have described above as sanctification. That distant quasi-lightning of ecstasy, just a hint, a mild reflection, as the author states here, just a reflection, just a waft. Just a waft of that perfume. That's all you get. That's all you get from this. All of the work that I've done, the most intense experiences I've ever had through my magical work, has just been a waft of her perfume. I'm not doused in it. I'm not in the perfume factory, drowning in it. It is just a waft. It is just enough to give me hope for what comes next. Parit Shao, another author, says, every god is the own eye in a special cosmic astral channel, which the eye, stimulated by ecstasy to spontaneous view, finds by being reflected in him, the God. In all of us, this God, the absolute, the cosmic dynamic force, the universe, it's all reflected in us. even to have spent mere moments in this magical state leaves traces behind, which distinguished the pertaining human and his whole world of perception from any other human and his world of perception. That's right. I've read accounts of people who have taken psilocybin one time and they have completely transformed their view on life. They have seen, they have felt, they have gotten that waft of ecstasy that no other human in their life maybe has ever felt. And that distinguishes them, that sets them aside, that puts them in a different category than the profane who have never experienced this. Such a human is sanctified in the deepest sense of the word. Being a sanctification, ecstasy is not only continuing to have an effect, but is beforehand also having an effect. That is to say, magical people are in the state of sanctification often a long time before the actual sanctification happens. And only if this state is accompanying the exertions it is then possible that these lead to the immersion of God into the existence. You may be sanctified already. You may be set on this path of sanctification before you even begin your magical practice. But that's what led you to practicing magic. You felt it. You got that waft of the perfume. You know that there's something more. It's calling you the same way that it called me. The same way that it called all the masters of the past. It's why you're doing this work. It's why you're here in the Mind War today. It's why you are earning the title of Mind Warrior, Citizen Samurai, Guerrilla Guru, Warrior Monk, and more importantly, it's why you're earning the title Magician. And we're going to talk about more. We're going to talk about that more in the next episode. But until then, I appreciate you being here. And as always, remember, folks, harden your hearts and open your minds, because this is Mind War.